So, I'm back with another moto vlog. It's been raining a lot lately. It's actually a good thing. It hasn't rained here for like 3 months, so everyone is kind of happy about the rain. Not quite so happy about the rain. Sort of a dual emotion. Some people like that we're finally getting some rain. Some people are sad that there is no longer sun, or the sun it's no longer out, or it's out, it's just behind the cover of the clouds. Yeah, not a lot of motorcycle riding when it's raining. This suit is made for weather, or for the rain rather, and I don't really find it fun to ride when it's raining either. It's I won't say scary, but it could get slippery and it can get a bit dangerous. So prefer not to ride when it's raining or has just rained. Anyways, so I was at the motorcycle meetup place on Wednesday. Today's Sunday, and it has been raining since Thursday, so 3 days of rain. But yeah, it was insane amount of people there. There's not a lot of people in Norway in general, but in like the Oslo area, which is like the most densely populated area in Norway, I expected like maybe 100 different people with motorcycles. It was probably closer to 400. It was packed, and it's a pretty big parking area, so there's room for a lot of bikes, and there were barely enough room for us to park. I was there with my dad. I don't know if I said that already, but yeah, it was basically just insane. So that was fun. Yeah, very fun actually. Got to see a lot of bikes. Sports bikes, touring bikes, old bikes, new bikes, the works. And so I've decided on what bike to get next. That is, if I can afford it and if it's available, because I can't buy it new, I have to buy it used. So my next bike hopefully will be a Yamaha MT-09, if I can afford it. And that's a big if, because the ones I'm looking for is the 2014 model or newer, and I haven't seen a lot of them for sale. That is probably because they are very, very fun. The people who owns them are all very positive. I've had some talks about them with people on forums and on different media and people who owns them. So after seeing them in real life and yeah, just seeing the stats, I mean, this bike, I think, I'm not sure, but from what I have read on the web, it's supposed to do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. That's roughly 1 to 60 miles per hour for you imperialists. It is supposed to be just about 0 to 100 kilometers in about 4.6 seconds. That's 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds. That sounds a little too slow for me. I swear this bike is faster than that. I would say like 3.2, 3.4 maybe. Very weird to read that it was 4.6. But if that's the case, the MT-09 does it in 2.8, which is almost half. Not almost, but closing on actually being half. Closer to being half than to be the same, I guess. So, yeah, I think that has to be the bike. I mean, it's an upright bike, or more upright bike. I'm not really looking for a bike that I'm like, not a custom bike or a cruiser. I'm looking for more the naked style, more upright but not completely upright. And I really think that the MT-09 is, it's not the best in its class, obviously. I'm well aware that there are better bikes in that class, but the fun factor, and I think the bike is really cool. It looks really cool. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to be the next bike. Now there is a good chance that I won't be getting it until next year, because, well, financial reasons, and I have a car and I have a motorcycle, and it costs a lot of money in insurance and parking and stuff. So I think I will be selling my car. Yeah, I guess come spring, and when I'm selling the car, or when I've sold the car, I will be selling this bike, and yeah, I'll see what I end up with. If I end up with enough money that a small loan will give me the MT-09, that's what I'll be getting. However, I will accept a MT-07, which I know I can afford. I could almost sell this bike today and afford a 2014 MT-07. They're not that expensive, not cheap, but compared to its performance, it does like 0 to 100 in somewhere in the 3.5 second range, and you can always add the aftermarket exhausts to give it a little bit extra sound and performance. I think it has something around 70 horsepower, which is less than this bike, but it has more bottom power. The issue I have with this bike when it comes to power is that it's not that it doesn't have power, it's that the power is sort of hidden. It's hard to get to 10,000 RPMs in Norway because the roads aren't really, you're not really allowed to drive that fast. That was a great maneuver by that idiot. So if I want maximum acceleration, I sort of have to either do first gear in highway speeds, or I have to break the law. And I try not to break the law. I'm not a fan of breaking speed limits, or other limits for that matter. So yeah, I'm not this seat is so wide and this new suit is so tight that I actually have a little bit of an issue with getting my feet down, which is also an advantage for the MT-09 and the MT-07, especially the MT-07, which is lower and more narrow. The one thing I'm afraid of is that I will look a bit silly on a MT-09. I am taller than maybe the ideal rider. I guess I am six something. I don't know. I'm 186 centimeters, whatever that is in imperialistic measurements. I don't know. But yeah, the new MT-09 is really cool. I think it's called the FC until very recently. I think the international name changed to the MT-09. It was FC-09 for Americans at least. I don't know if every other country had a different name or it's just America, but it is a in my opinion, both are beautiful bikes. I mean, of course they're in their own lane. If you don't like the type of bike, it's a naked bike. It's supposed to be. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of negativity about the MT-09 or MT-07. I know that the MT-10 has a lot of hate. People apparently do not like the way it looks. I think it looks really cool. It looks like a genuine, almost like Transformers type of thing. It looks sharp, looks powerful, it looks like it wants to do something illegal, almost illegal. But supposedly it's a lot more controllable than the MT-09, which actually seems to be the worst of the three. That's a bit surprising to me. That may be the reason why it's not a lot more expensive than the MT-07. It's actually pretty close in price. It's 1/3 or 33% more expensive new than the MT-07, but it's 3/5 of the price of the MT-10, so it's a lot cheaper than the MT-10, but the MT-10, but it's not a lot cheaper than the MT-07. Not a lot, not more expensive, a lot more expensive than the MT-07. So I don't know. I mean, I'm basically looking for a bike I can use for fun, that I can ride. I don't think I'm going to do like adventure riding, but I'm going to do some X amount of hours of riding. And it definitely is a advantage to have a bike that's less tiresome to ride, that has more low end power. This isn't a bike for people who ride the cities a lot, which I do, considering I'm basically surrounded by a city. And yeah, it's basically just the best choice, really. I don't understand how that can be 0 to 100 in less than 4 seconds. I mean, that's like 1 second to get from 20 to... Okay, of course, the start will take a bit longer with this one, because it has pretty highly geared, or high... Yeah, I think that's what it's called. It's high geared, which means that it's gonna take a while to get up to like some revs. But if you like gun the engine and use your clutch, you should be able to get a pretty good start. I think 4.6 seconds. I have to try it somewhere. I have to find like a long stretch of open road that I can actually test the acceleration on. That just doesn't sound right. 4.6 seconds that's a long time for a relatively sporty bike. And I checked out the CBR 600RR, and it was slower from 0 to 30 and 0 to 50 kilometers an hour, and then it picks up speed and becomes faster at more than 50 kilometers an hour. It starts to get a lot faster, or not a lot faster. It's like 0 to 120, they're pretty much neck and neck all the way, but from 120 and up, this bike gets smoked by the RR. As it should be. I mean, it's a sport bike. This isn't a sports bike. Oh, this is a sports bike, but I guess you would call it a hyper sport or super sport. Super sport, I guess, is the correct term. But this isn't a super sport. This is just a sports bike. It has. I'm not gonna call it a hybrid, but it's not really a sports bike either, or is yes, it's a sport bike. I have to say it's a sports bike. I'm gonna go over here. Well, the speed limit is here 50. And they are definitely not riding 50. And we're getting back to 70. Trying to figure out new roads, so I'm just doing new. I haven't been riding a lot of varied roads. It's been like the same road every time, with some variation, but not a lot of variation. So I'm trying to figure out some new, more exciting, fun ways to get around. Somewhere you haven't seen. Not really making these videos for anyone but myself, but some variation is of course a good thing. I'm really thirsty. I'm going to have to stop and get something to drink. where I am going to do that. I'm going to have to fill my fuel up pretty soon, so I guess I'll be stopping at a gas station anyway.